فقصة أردوغان وتركيا هلا موضوع كثير معقد. أهلا وسهلا فيكم بهيدي الجلسة الثانية لهي السنة. فينا نقول إنه تركيا بظل حكومة أردوغان دخلت منذ أشهر مرحلة من الغموض وعدم اليقين. لا نعرف أين ستنتهي هذه المرحلة وكيف ستنتهي. عندما نتحدث عن الغموض في تركيا فإننا نقصد بالدرجة الأولى ما حدث في الأشهر الأخيرة، يعني محاولة انقلاب وانقلاب على الانقلاب، ثم موجة تطهير مستمرة حتى الآن طاولت مؤسسات الدولة كلها، الإدارية والعسكرية والأمنية والتعليمية. طبعا الإعلام كمان صار في هجمة كبيرة على الإعلام المستقل وعملية تفكيك لهذا الإعلام. صار الوضع الآن بيشبه عملية إعادة تفكيك وتركيب. تفكيك شو تركيب شو؟ إعادة تفكيك الدولي وإعادة بناء الدولة. أول سؤال بينطرح: التيار القومي الديني يلي بينتمي له الAKP أو حزب العدالة والتنمية يلي بتزعمه أردوغان، وين هو بهالعملية هاي إعادة بناء الدولة؟ يعني قديش هو عم بيقود عملية وهو مسيطر عليها بدون شركاء آخرين، سواء شركاء من الدولة العميقة أو من تيارات إسلامية تانية مثل جماعة جولان مثلا. السؤال الثاني هي شو حدود التقاطع أو التناغم بين الإسلام السياسي، طبعا الإسلام السياسي التركي، والنزعة القومية التركية، وبالتالي وين صار الكلام يلي سمعناه خلال السنوات الماضية عن النموذج التركي، النموذج التركي بالنسبة للمجتمعات العربية. خلال هيدي الأشهر نفسها يلي عم نحكي عنها كمان شفنا بالسياسة الخارجية تطورات مهمة، استدارة لتركيا نحو روسيا ونحو إيران بدفع من دينامية جديدة بتركيا الأردوغانية. هاي الدينامية هي تسمى حاليا الخيار الأوراسي، أورازيان أو أوريجن، أو الخيار الشرقي أو الخيار الشرقي الآسيوي، بمواجهة الخيار الأطلسي الغربي. طبعا تركيا هي حتى إشعار آخر دولة أساسية بالأطلسي. كيف تتوازن تركيا على خط التماس بين التكتلين؟ في خط تماس وأردوغان عم يلعب، فشو حدود هذه اللعبة وشو مخاطرها؟ كيف بتدير الأزمة أزمتها الكردية على جبهتين، جبهة داخلية جنوب شرق أناضول والجبهة السورية؟ هل صحيح أنه الأولوية بالنسبة لأنقرة بالصراع على سوريا هي صارت للموضوع الكردي، يعني حل الموضوع الكردي أو احتوائه بصرف النظر عن مستقبل النظام السوري؟ كل هاي الأسئلة مطروحة لحتى يحاول يجيب عنها صديقنا والكاتب والمحلل جنكيز كاندار. جنكيز كاندار هو أحد أبرز الخبراء الأتراك بشؤون الشرق الأوسط ومحاور سياسي يحسب له حساب عند الدولة التركية. لعب دور بارز بتأسيس لحضور القضية الفلسطينية بالمجتمع السياسي التركي سابقا، وفي التقريب بين القيادات الكردية العراقية الطلبانيين والبرزانيين وتركيا. كذلك كان له دور مهم على الصعيد الإعلامي بالمعركة مع المؤسسة العسكرية وصولا للإصلاح الديمقراطي. حاليا بيعيش بالمنفى الاختياري بستوكهولم، حيث يقوم بعمل بحثي في جامعة ستوكهولم. خياره هيدا اجا بعد مطاردة سوريالية طبعا من جانب السلطة، من جانب أردوغان، اتهامات، النيابة العامة، تحويله على النيابة العامة عدة مرات إلى آخره لأسباب واهية يعني، وأجبرته كل هذه الشغلة هذه المتعبة أجبرته أنه ينسحب من الصحافة اليومية. الكلام لك جنكيز.
شكرا يا أبو زياد. أهلا وسهلا بكم. آخر مرة أنا كنت هون بمركز دراسات صار كم سنة. من هاي الفترة للآن ما صار أي تطوير بلغتي، المستوى اللغة العربية
حسماني قديم،
لأنه بدون ممارسة العملية ما عم بصير تطوير، رغم هذا اللغة العربية. بهذا السبب اسمح لي يحكي بإنجليزي، بيكون أعتقد بيكون دقيق أكثر بمواضيع منركز عليهم. The first two times I had been here in this center, which I'm always very happy to be, actually. I remember that I spoke in a very high mood, in self-confidence, coming from a country in ascendancy. So given that ascendancy, Turkey projected to the world, to the region, and to each individual belonging to that country, I was also very self-confident that we were all moving towards bright horizons. Now I come the third time here to this room, particularly after the 2 years, and especially after since 6, 7, 8 months, what they call the failed military coup. What we have been practicing in Turkey, I come here with a psychology of a defeated individual. When I look back to my life, I come to the conclusion as if all those years has been in vain. We have not succeeded anything. We have been all wrong for many things. So, in contrast to the previous times that I had been here, emanating this self-confidence and optimism, I am much more humbled person now, unsuccessful, defeated, and never has known success. And maybe in my lifetime, for our generation, whatever the definition of success, maybe we will never have it. So we will maybe go down into the future, to the history, as a defeated generation. The only thing we can console ourselves, we tried. We had good hearts, we had shuja'a, we had wa'i, we had, in a way, ahlaq, and we failed. But we have tried. So, some weeks ago, I noticed that the people like us, political activists, or political scientists, or philosophers, or literary people, the people dealing with social sciences, know very less about physical sciences. Maybe if there are engineers, mathematicians in this group, can attest to what I will refer now, which I think sheds light to my country, to the region, and to the world. 150 years ago from today, the second law of thermodynamics were discovered. So to this second law of thermodynamics say that everything in the universe eventually moves from order to disorder, from structure to formlessness, and from predictability to uncertainty. So I take again some consolation that at least it seems what we have been passing through complies with the law of thermodynamics. Now we are passing from predictability to uncertainty, from order to disorder. This is how the universe is structured and formed, and now we are living it. Of course, one of the main reasons why it happened after the Cold War, we had a unipolar world with one superpower. So this unipolar world was structured upon that superpower, which the name goes as the United States of America. And this United States lost credibility, and it seems to have run out of ideas in terms of global governance to propose the world leadership. Even if it wanted to, it lacks money to fund it, and also it has no will to lead it, to lead this world. We have seen it in the previous administration of Barack Obama, which was very reluctant. This is certainty in Beirut. The uncertainty if we had always kahraba. This diminishing America, and the most importantly, the will to lead it, the will to lead the world, we have witnessed in Obama in terms of his reluctance to do something or to do anything in terms of leadership. Now, in contrast, we have this Donald Trump, but his position converges, in a sense, by being very contrasting to Obama, but still his position overlaps in terms of not willing to lead with the slogan, as you all know, America first. America first means I don't care about the rest very much. So the world is ours now, and this world, without a global governance and leadership and the means to supply it, is a world of disorder, a world of uncertainty, and it is best seen and known in this region. And in this sense, my country, Turkey, has become not a regional power projecting its strength to lead to this region as it claimed to be some years ago, when I had been here twice before, as I said, with self-confidence. That was that Turkey. Now it's a different Turkey. And this different Turkey has become not any sort of a shining example or an attractive power center for anybody. The numbers which makes a country a regional power or a place of attraction does not is not the case, or are not the case with Turkey. Particularly after the crackdown we had following the failed coup, 15 July. I will give you some numbers. It has been a very wide crackdown, and it is ongoing. It is still going on, this crackdown in Turkey, these purges, the pressures. For example, 7,000 academics are purged. 15 universities are closed. And 7,000 professors, associate professors, PhD holders, academics are purged. So the university system in Turkey, at the highest level, collapsed. 550 people from the foreign ministry, some are in jail, some are out of job. And in Turkey, if you are kicked out for some reason, you don't come to the conclusion, let me move and do something else. You can't find jobs because you are stamped by the authorities. You are jobless. You become nobodies. But more importantly, the numbers, the figures are in terms of so high in terms of detentions and arrests. Until today, in the last 6 months, 11,000 plus people are taken into detention. 44,000 of them are arrested, put in prison. The capacity of prisons after 15 July is 110%. So it is so full that they start to pardon the ordinary criminals to find spaces for those who would be put into prison politically. Turkey has become a hell in terms of journalists and in terms of freedom of press and freedom of media, freedom of expression. 151 journalists, well-known, prominent journalists, many of them are my very close friends and colleagues, they are in prison. And the number of journalists who are in prison in Turkey is more than the sum total of the journalists Iran, Russia, and China. If you add China, Russia, and Iran, the people who has press card in prison, Turkey by itself is about it. Most interestingly, the situation of the military. The military of Turkey is known to be the second largest in NATO. After the United States, it is the second largest, therefore, presumably, the second strongest, at least in terms of numbers, the strongest military. 8,000 personnel of the military at the officer level are in prison or purged. 151 generals, they are in prison. That makes roughly 46-48% of the generals. So the army altogether is some 100,000. But Turkish army is not a professional army. It's a conscript army. So those numbers to educated minds means peasants under gun, under arms. Because when you are 20 years old, you conscript people and send them to make their military duties for 2 years. From 20 to 2 years, you teach how to use the gun and send them back to their villages or to their homes to take new ones. So the strength of the military is not counted if it's a conscript army. How many people are under arms? It's mainly how many generals you have, the highest class of the army. So in this sense, nearly half of the Turkish generals are in prison now. If we come to the Air Force, which is the most important part of the Turkish military, which is considered as the jewel of the crown of the military. It has 300 fighter planes. There are 600 planes, but I'm not counting the transport planes and other aircraft. The fighter planes, there are 300. And it had about this 300, 240 are F-16s, very developed planes. And for each plane, there were 2 pilots. Since 15 July, 550 pilots are either purged or under trial or in prison. So now the ratio for 300 fighter planes, it was 0.8, now it diminished to 0.5. We can fly the fighter planes if we